Hey, old mate, hold on. You're running 7th, Gareth. Well done.
Hello and welcome to episode 46 of Cookies Rambles. Done my Sunday long run. It's 12th of November, and you're joining us today as we're going and about as daily life as we're going round doing all the shopping as little bits and pieces. So yeah, episode 46 Cookie Rambles about to get underway.
Oh, forgot about this. This is the smooth.
Whoa. Whoa! You nearly took her head off.
You took your head off, Pike.
Oh, I'm filming it the wrong way anyway.
Oh. Done hearted then. No. Well, I think I've played a blinder. So we've put some stuff in the loft at home, and we've come out to a well-known supermarket that isn't too far away from our house. So it's this one, if you can see it, look, through the rain. I've got both the girls in the car, and Naomi has gone in to do his weekly shop. So I'm babysitting. So yeah, today we've got a few little jobs that we need to do around the house. We're planning on taking these two for a little bit of a short walk. Piper's getting spayed tomorrow, so yeah, we're trying to tire her out because she's going to be on bed rest for a couple of days at least after getting spayed, whilst the stuff heals and stuff. So yeah, we're trying to tire her out a little bit today because she's going to be trapped in a cage for a little bit while she heals and licks her wounds. So yeah, this week I've had a decent week of training, got some miles under my belt, and also raced this week. So yeah, I'll talk about that as I delve further into the video on my Cookies little ramble this week. We're okay there, girls. We also went to Damien Briscoe's 40th surprise birthday party last night, and went out with Birdie and Naomi. Birdie were third wheeling, or Naomi were third wheeling. I'd let you make that choice. So yeah, went out to Lou and Joe's Burger in Ormfirth before we went there as well. So a nice little bit of social under his belt for this week. And then yeah, after last week's episode where I spoke about smart targets, goal setting, and different principles of like training and theories, I mentioned something towards the end which were sort of like affecting me and my training, so stomach issues, gut issues, and it got me thinking a little bit about and I've raced this week as well. Thankfully I've cut out saurine in my diet and I've not had a stomach ache this week whilst I've been running, so there might be something in that, which I hope not, because I rate like saurine and malt loaf, so I hope it isn't right. It might just be too much of a good thing, to be honest. So yeah, started thinking about changing the way that you think of racing, and racing in a nutshell. So yeah, this week I've done 96 miles, but I've raced a 5k, and I've tried to race it quite fast as well. So changing the way that I think of racing, and the race this week for me was like, it were a marker, it were a fitness test to see where I'm at post-marathon in terms of speed, which, to be honest, I ain't got much speed post-marathon, but just to see where I were at, and give me a little bit of confidence going towards the winter 10Ks and the shorter distance blocks that I've got coming up. And as running's taken over, science seems to and data and technology seems to have consumed us a little bit, and overshadowed all of the other good things that comes from running. And in all seriousness, it's just you against the clock, and your body against the clock, and can you beat yourself from the week before or the previous effort that you did a couple of months prior. And all it is a science experiment, I say that, and it's like lighting your magnesium on your Bunsen burner. Just making sure that you're not doing too much, you're not doing too little, just to see that eventual glow come out. And yeah, data kind of has taken over the way that we think about things, and data nowadays makes it more accessible for people like me and you that are just doing it as a hobby. Like, we're just average Joes really that are just doing it as a hobby. It's not be all and end all, and we're doing it alongside full-time jobs. So yeah, it's how can we then interpret that data, because it's all well and good doing these fitness tests, but how can we interpret that data to get the best possible thing out of it, to know where we can then improve and take that into us training. Because at the end of the day, data shows that you've either got a strength or a weakness, or you're just doing something correctly. So how can you interpret that then to put it into your training? So whether it is doing a sit and reach test to then know that you're not flexible in your hamstrings and your lower back, whether it is doing a standing jump test to know that you can generate power from certain muscle groups within your body, so that you can make a vertical jump. So yeah, there's all sorts of fitness tests that as runners that'll be valuable, and all sorts of fitness tests as runners that'll be invaluable, and yeah, completely like a waste of time as a runner. So yeah, it's just one of those things that you don't want to overwhelm yourself with too much data and become a sucker to data overload, which yeah, I know quite a lot of people that they're a little bit of geeks when it comes to data, but they can become a sucker to it because the heart rate hasn't shown that they're a certain level, or their vertical oscillation hasn't shown that they're at a certain level, or their ground contact time balance shows that they're spending too much time on their left or their right foot. So yeah, just making sure that you're not a sucker when it comes to the data and interpreting it as a weakness when it could actually in fact be a strength. I believe you brought your dog bone to the table.
Jacket potato. Are you filming me?
What's happened to you, Naomi?
Got tangled.
You got tangled? Are you done?
I put harness.
Come on, you're eating. Come for a walk now, so we've been out to what cafe?
Windmill.
Went to Windmill Cafe, and now we're just walking around Scout Dyke with two dogs. So yeah, I was talking about data anyway, and data and running. So we've got some weighing scales at home, some Garmin weighing scales.
They've run out of battery.
That have run out of battery.
Last week.
So it shows how much we care about them. That obviously measure your weight, but they also measure your body fat, your body water, your body muscle, and then your BMI composition, so your body composition. Yeah, so they measure body composition, which is obviously a makeup of all that sort of stuff as well, but body composition gives you a rating whether you fall in certain categories, which it doesn't take into account whether you've got too much water or too much muscle mass or skeletal mass. That's another thing that scales measure at home. But yeah, it's all data that like can overly consume you. And then when I mentioned about fitness testing, so you've got obviously your lactate threshold test that a lot of people jump into because the Ingebrigtsens do it, that measures like your lactate turn point of where lactic acid builds up in your muscles. And then you've got VO2 max testing that you see people in labs or in back rooms of someone's house on a treadmill with an oxygen mask over the face, or they've got finger prick tests that they do with lactate turn point again, or the old school Cooper runs where you run for 12 minutes and see how far you can cover in that 12 minutes, or a bleep test that you have to run a certain distance. I think it's 15 or 20 meters before the beeps, and to measure your VO2 max again, or your aerobic system. But really it could just test how quick you are over a certain distance. Remember doing that in secondary school, and doing quite well actually, getting towards the end of the tape. And then you've got other fitness tests like dyno grip test that tests your grip strength, something that I'm always poor at because I ain't got very good grip strength. And then when it comes to fitness testing, you can almost like train for the test, which yeah, could be a good thing or could be a bad thing, because then you just get false scores of how you are training for the test to try and beat the test and get a better result. Oh, slabber everywhere. Whoa, jump.
3, 2, 1. I can't reach you.
Don't let go of her.
She's trying to eat that big rock. I say, you're pulling me in.
Come on, Pipes. Whoa.
What do you keep doing to her?
She jumps from there to there. You ready?
You two brave little ladies. She just wants to eat the trees.
Yeah, I know. So we're not doing any more.
Come on then.
Yeah, only bit I didn't film then. Piper like 5-star frog splashed into the water and I just missed it. So yeah, we think we've got a water baby, don't we, Nams?
We've got one that hates water and one that loves water by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Piper will let herself into our shower, like just whenever she wants to get in the shower, she will just open the door with her paws and walk in.
Or to collect Naomi's air bubbles that gather around the drain, because that's what she does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're talking about data. So yeah, with all this data that you can collect, you get like these normative figures, like normative data that you can compare it to, which just shows where you lie against the rest of the world, and how they're performing over certain stuff. And then a good one, so it's one of the reasons that you kind of like race, so you use that race as a fitness test against yourself, and it's just an easy way that you can compare where you lie against yourself, because you've measured your data against you before, so 5k for example, and they're quite quick and easy to do, so you can do a 5k every weekend. Barnsley parkrun, an old favourite, to just test where you are against yourself, and if it's on the same course, the same route, the same distance, and that's what I tend to use racing for, unless it's a target race, and especially when I'm not tapering into a race. So yeah, Friday night, York 5k, my 5k PB for the distance is 15:49, and I've done it twice on the nose, at Mid Cheshire this year and at Doncaster 5k in 2019. So York 5k, it's around a cycle track, it's 5 laps. They swear that it is bang on 5k because it's a 1k loop, so it must be right. Everyone's watches always measure long because of the corners and the hairpins and stuff like that. You what? Yeah, there's some trees on the course as well. Yeah, Naomi measured 3.25 because she did a lot of overtaking because she started quite far back on Friday night. My best time on the course previously was 16:03, and I did it in 2022 when I was on my way building back from my first foot brake in May 2022, and I actually titled it Racing Myself Fit, and I'm clocking 16:03. So yeah, set off Friday night, went up to go and do the 5k, and did quite well actually. So I wanted to clock roughly between 3:05 pace per lap to like 3:08 pace, which would chuck me out something around, so 3:05 is around 15:25, and then anything slower than that is where I did want to end up anywhere between my PB and 15:25. End up clocking 15:57 and sort of sat in on the third and fourth lap behind 3 young lads, and thought they were pacing it quite well, and ended up slowing a little bit. Yeah, so went through first lap in 3:05, bang on pace, and then my second lap was 3:10, so averaged out quite well, and then my third lap ended up being about 3:15 or something like that. It does actually have the splits on the Even Splits website, and then for the fourth lap just didn't rein it back enough, and weren't slowing. I went quicker than my third lap, I believe, but just didn't rein it back enough to play catch up. Still ended up clocking my last lap as, I think it was about 3:10 for my last lap, so kicked, but didn't kick enough to claw it back. Yeah, but came away and I'm quite happy with the time, 15:57. So it works out as a course PB in comparison to my 16:03 that I've done before, but not quite quick enough to be an overall 5k PB. So fitness wise, fitter than when I did it last time, but not fitter than a 5k PB, but it's the same course. You know that it's the exact same distance to give or take, so there must be something in that I'm feeling quite sharp. When I went in I think it weren't 2022 when I did it. Right, 2021. Yeah. It was when we first started going. Yeah, it was when me and Naomi first started seeing each other, so I didn't actually race it in 2022. But yeah, in 2021 when I last did it, 16:03. Yeah, I did it with Doncaster and I ended up running 16:20, didn't I? Something like that in 2022. So 5k is not a distance that I do race a lot. It's a distance that I probably race once or twice a year if I'm really thinking about it. It's not a distance that I prefer to choose. I was stood on start line and said to Kai,
all of us at one point before the race said, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard Naomi then, but all of us were stood on start line before, and I said to Kai, I think I'd much rather race a marathon. I don't want this 15-16 minutes worth of pain that's about to come up. But yeah, we had 5 of us that went up to York on Friday. So there were Kai, who finished in 15:03 for quite a big PB. I was 15:57. Jack Bellamy got 17:11, so one of the lads out of the training group. Ruby got a big PB and got 17:18 or 17:17. And then Naomi, what did you get?
17:57.
So she got 17:57. Yeah, dipped under 18-minute mark for first time.
Ruby got first lady, I got second.
Yeah, Naomi got second lady, Ruby was first lady. And last time you was, what time did you get there?
19:09.
Yeah, 19:09. So she's
21.
Yeah, so she improved it by a minute, and doing quite well. And you paced it well, didn't you?
My last K was faster than my first K. So yeah, really well. I was like bang on until 3k, 4k, and then I dropped like 2 seconds and then another 2 seconds, but I picked it back up for the last K. I really enjoyed it. I was worried because I know how much like a sprint hurts, like having your heart rate that high for that long. You run a marathon at like quite a low heart rate, so the pain comes from your muscles and your joints, whereas the pain for a 5k comes from like your chest and your lungs. It's a completely different feeling, and it's just not one that I like, but it didn't hurt as much as I expected, and I actually want to do it again and think I could go faster.
So we've left it feeling a little bit hungry for more, which I think that's what 5k distance does to you, doesn't it? It's just not quite far enough.
It's the little seconds in a 5k as well, like it's those really small gains that you're looking for. When you're doing a long run, you imagine you're going to knock off minutes at a time, but the reward of actually knocking off such a small percent, because it's such a fast race, I find quite rewarding, I think.
Yeah, so that's Naomi's blurb for a 5k, innit?
That's my 2p.
Yeah, your 2p. Girls, we're not going in the water there. Yeah, so that's kind of like a benchmark now of speed, hopefully, and of things that are to come. So yeah, got, like I mentioned last week, Doncaster 10k that I still need to enter actually, and Percy Pug coming up, and then a couple of low-key local races. So we've got Travellers 6, which is at Denby Dale, and then Brass Monkey that I've got an entry for in January.
I didn't get into that one, they've balloted it, and I'm the only one from our little squad that hasn't got a place, so I'll be carrying bags if anyone needs a bag handler for the day. I can carry one for you. Yeah,
so Naomi's going to be on baggage for that day. Bessie's had enough of walking, look. Come on, baby. So it's what Naomi does when I take her for a run. Yeah, so when it comes to racing, you can look at age grading, so as a fitness test, and I'm not going to tell you what my age grading was on Friday and what Naomi's age grading was, because she ended up being like 0.5% better than me. So yeah, not good, and I'm not competitive at all. But that can compare you like against your normative data as to where you are against everyone else that's your age in the world. And obviously if you get an 100% age grading, it means that you're doing really well and you're running like world record pace. Whereas if you get like an 80%, a 70% or 60%, the lower you go, the lower you are against your age groups to compare against. But that's one quick, easy way that you can compare like how you're performing. If you want to compare against everyone else, you might just want to compare against your age grade from what you have done before, like you previously, and what you've done before to try and better your age grade. I think my highest one's about 88% from a road relay in Manchester that I did once on Power 10, and it shows you on Power 10 where you are against everyone else's time. But yeah, just comparing and using age grade as a tool that's quick, easy, and it's cheap and it's free against everyone else. Another one that we use, I showed Naomi it, it's called VDOT Calculator. So yeah, it's an app that you can download, and VDOT shows you like a point score where you are against everyone else. So I think mine's 67 or 68 or something at the minute, and you can put your most recent time or effort in, and then it'll predict your times, what you should be able to run for every other distance. So it might be like if you put in 20-minute 5k, it can predict where you are for every other distance, like as a comparative thing, which is quite interesting as well. But it's interesting to use like little tools that are out there as measures of your fitness and how you've improved. Yeah, so it's all little marginal gains and little tweaks that you can make, and obviously when you're doing your little building blocks, I try and put the foundations down for marathons, like over the shorter stuff first, and then build into the longer stuff as you go through your master plan for training. This week in training anyway, I've done 96 mile this week, just short of 7,000 foot of climb. It's 1 more mile than I did last week, because I did 95 mile last week. My big day was Tuesday again, so I think it was about 17 mile on Tuesday with a speed session. Naomi's gone full nunchuck, and she's got both dogs, she's off like an husky. 17 mile Tuesday with the speed session. So went up to, it was near mum and dad's, so jogged up as a 2 mile warm up home, 2 mile warm up from home, and then it were a 5 mile tempo, which I clocked, it's on a hillier route, but I clocked 28 and something for 5 mile, which were quite good. And then we went into some 1 mile repeats, so I ended up doing 3 times 1 mile. The session prescribed was 5 times 1 mile, off a 2 minutes like walk recovery we did, where we just continued walking on the loop, and yeah, and that was good. We had a good turnout for that. The weather's not been the best this week, but we've had quite a good week of running, and the heart rate on an evening run has been considerably lower than what it has been on my morning runs. So it started dropping like into the 130s, which is good. So it shows that I'm getting some aerobic gains in the system when it comes to that sort of stuff. And then into Thursday, so didn't do a second session because we were racing Friday night, so just did an easy run Thursday. And then this morning ended up doing 15 mile with Kai and Scott, which has been good as well.
Saved the lady.
Yeah, we had an eventful run this morning, so it's obviously it's Remembrance Sunday, so we ended up running into the procession, the memorial stuff at Dodder. Yeah, and we stopped and took part in that a little bit, and for the minute's silence. And then on his way, like must be first mile, a lady kicked the curb and ended up face planting on floor whilst walking her dog. She told us that she does it all the time, so me, Scott and Kai helped her up and made sure that she were okay. And I said, as long as you're a professional at it, love, it don't matter. But yeah, she was fine, and she carried on with her morning walk, and we went off on our run. There were a guy that came round the corner that was just behind her, so if she did fall again, she were in safe hands with this guy that were also walking his dog behind her. And then yeah, Kai and Scott this morning, so yeah, nice run, and we managed to slow Scott down for 15 mile, which were good. He probably sprinted off home though after he departed us, because he's a sucker for just running fast. And then yesterday at parkrun, I was very tired legs, but managed to clock 17:25 for my third week in a row at Barnsley. So it's like good old times before I met the troubled baggage that is now in my life. I mean Bessie, not Naomi. So yeah, third week in a row at Barnsley, enjoyed it. Scott were there as well, so yeah, it's always good to just get me and Scott back on Barnsley parkrun. We used to do it week in, week out against each other. Oh no, Turbo, watch it. It's a snail on the floor, so I call it Turbo after that film. So yeah, it's been a good week of training. It's been enjoyable. Yeah, come on then. Yeah, so now I'm just taking the huskies now. Yeah, so it's been a good week of training. Enjoyable. It's been, you're going the wrong way. Not the best weather, like full autumn here, so we've got long sleeve tops out. It's been 3 degrees at times. Hat and gloves aren't quite out yet because I never wear gloves during winter. Must have really warm blood.
Ooh, they're being quiet now.
Oh yeah, that's a calf. It's a baby cow, that one. For once, Piper's not. Piper's never seen cows up close.
That's a cow. Oh, my dog.
Oh, he's run off from you. Enjoyed walking around.
Oh God, I was yawning. On your marks. Get set. Piper, you're the wrong way. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, come on, Bessie! Come on! Let's go! Woohoo!
We've made it.
Oh! 100 metre dash.
Piper won.
She did. Well done, girls.
She can't make it. Go on.
Elevation.
Good girl, Pipes. Well, that's episode 46 of Cookies Rambles done. Ended up being quite a long one. I said at the beginning it was going to be short, but it ended up being quite a long one today. Walking around Scout Dyke Res. So yeah, cheers for listening. Hope you enjoyed the little snippet about fitness testing and how that can support you, especially if you're interpreting the data correctly. And then I'll catch you next week for episode 47 of Cookies Rambles. So yeah, just keep running, guys.